Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Central Lake Township, regular board meeting, Wednesday, July 19th, 2013. Start with the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll. Nice to see you back.
Thank you. Kozlowski, here. Mullins?
Here.
Dean?
Here.
Form.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
There was no additions, I don't think.
I'll support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Agenda is approved. Approval of minutes, regular board meeting, May 15th, 2013.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of May 15th, 2013 as submitted.
All supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Special board meeting, May 22nd, 2013.
I'll make a motion to accept the special meeting, the minutes of the special board meeting of May 22nd, 2013.
No supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Public comment. Walter?
Would you give us a brief synopsis of what the special meeting was on May 22nd?
It was a meeting, the treasurer we had resigned, and we met and approved the resignation letter.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Not approve invoices, $18,167.54.
I'll make a motion to approve the invoices as submitted.
I will second that. Clerk, please call the roll.
Gabriel?
Yes.
Kozlowski, yes. Mullins?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes. Officers report. Fire Chief Bill Chapman.
Thank you. We had 24 runs last month. 3 were fires and 21 rescues. And we had no mutual aids or no runs into Echo Township. We did training in a few different areas, accountability. And if you don't recall what that is, that's making sure you go home with everybody you brought. You know where they are when they're there. And we did driver's training. Our two new fellows have both finished their driving training courses, and so we're doing in-house training with them now. We did emergency medical services training, and we did training in station maintenance and truck maintenance. And that was enough.
Good. Any questions? Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. Treasurer's report. We don't have a treasurer in place at the present time, but we do have a written report that was put together by the deputy clerk. We'll move on to clerk's report to the Kozlowski.
Well, last week, my election chairman and myself met in Charlevoix, and I wrote a grant to get the electronic poll book, and they approved it. We had the training, and we're going to use it trial. It won't go live till probably, not this November, probably in August, where all you do is you come in, you give your license or your state ID, and it's got a magnetic strip. You put it through, and it registers, calls you up, the whole 9 yards. All we do is hand them a piece of paper, and we're good to go. So that's good. And that's it, that's all I have. Oh, we have no election in August. That's very good.
Okay, move on to supervisor report, my understanding. We had one parcel division. As long as it meets our parcel division ordinance, the board, and it's okay, but the assessors board give me, I'm able to approve those, so we approved it. It created 2 lots out of one parcel on Intermediate Lake Drive. Actually, it's off Intermediate Lake Drive, 11 Cedar Shores Trail. Sheriff's Department, there was 70 events in our township last month. That's in my office. Also, our audit has been completed. The township is in good shape. We did end up increasing our general fund balance by $1,437, which is not a lot, but at least it's not a negative figure. And that's in our office. It can be reviewed by anybody. Eventually, it'll be on the internet, on the Treasury. I looked yesterday, and it wasn't there. Last year's is there, but this year's hasn't been posted. So again, that is available in the township office for anyone to review. Move on to committee reports. Waste receiving station.
We see quite a big pickup up there. We've had a little more pulls than what we normally have, but everything else is doing fine. And that's all I have.
What do you mean by poles? Dumps?
Dumps. They call them pulls every time they come in, they'll make a pull.
Thank you.
But you really don't have any more pools, do you, than you normally have?
Yeah.
Because now you combine all that shit in one
We have,
container, so you have more pools that way.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the compactor, we've increased the pull on the compactor.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you got a lot more people up here.
That's all I have.
Okay, cemetery committee, that was given by trustee Gadwall. Cemetery committee, trustee Mullins.
I don't have a whole lot to report. You guys are mowing a lot of grass down there. Keeping the mowers running. They got plenty to do right now. There is a action item under new business on tree stumps that Stan had asked me to get some prices on grinding of some tree stumps down there. And I was super busy, so Stan was polite enough to go ahead and get the bids. So we're gonna go over that later.
Okay, thank you. Facility committee?
Everything's all right here at the facility. It's, there's some work that we're gonna have to talk about later on, but if we can get by with it right now, we'll just let it, it's mostly the carpet in there, the other one, so we'll just let that sit until a later date.
Any other committee reports?
All the boys went out and did the access sites, and they're looking good.
Okay, any other committees? Okay, no unfinished business, move on to new business, appointment of treasurer. We did have our audit, without a treasurer, that getting all this information was my responsibility and the clerk's responsibility, who had a deputy work on it, which I was just super impressed with the way that he was able to understand our software program, and I've never seen anyone pick it up as quick as he picked it up. So it made the audit a lot easier, and he would be willing to serve as treasurer, Andrew Smith, and I'd like to make that recommendation. I'll open it up for discussion or motions.
Well, I have to agree with you, I was impressed.
I told you so.
Excuse me.
I told you so. With the gal next door.
But he's great. I would really like to see him accept the position of treasurer.
And if there's one thing I can say, he's always got a smile on when you walk through the door.
And he always speaks to everybody.
Always, so polite.
So I make a motion to appoint Andrew Smith as the township treasurer.
I'll support that.
I think maybe that covers all on that one.
Okay. Gadwall,
Yes.
Kozlowski, yes. Mullins,
Yes.
Bean,
Yes.
welcome, Mr. Treasurer.
Firework permit for 4th of July. I need the board's okay to sign this.
You need a motion?
Now,
Yes. Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Wait,
that-
Sam's got a question.
Oh, I'm
is
sorry. I didn't
is this
see it.
open to questions?
Sure.
On this liability insurance, do we pay for that?
No.
Or they, okay, they pay for it,
It's $5 million.
and it's in for them people right to cover them, right? The owners of the property where you shoot the fireworks off at,
Cover them, also it names,
covers them and us?
and us.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question.
I make a motion to give the supervisor permission to sign the permit for fireworks for 4th of July.
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, move on to cost to remove tree stumps, Southern Cemetery. We did make a call to a second contractor that was listed, but he never did get back to us to get a price. I told him when our meeting was, and we have one from Donald Clark, who's done work for us before and has been very satisfactory. Now, he bid it in two separate ways. The one's at the center of the cemetery and some are on the outer edge. The only question I have is do we really need to do the 10 stumps that's on the outside?
Like outside where?
Back of, there was some taken down by where John Fence, right next to John's home that was hanging over his, and they're on the border.
By Kitty? That
Yeah.
farm?
If you took those stumps by the fence back there, where we were gonna run the, we're gonna extend the fence, that's the only reason why we're looking to get them out. We could still run the fence past them, and then take them out at a later date if you wish.
Probably need to come out. I mean, I guess while they're there, if we feel that it's important to take them out at one time, or.
It's probably the best time to do it if you're gonna take them
Well,
out.
if we're
while
gonna
they're
take
there.
her, right.
You know, you're gonna get a better price, because he's gonna do more stumps, at one time.
So
You
there's
go-
23 total?
Yep. You go back 6 months later and 10 more stumps, that price might go up.
No, it could, yeah, it could.
And we don't have a big pool of people to draw from to get bids to remove stuff, so. Does the cemetery have the funds to be able to afford that additional $720?
Yes.
I know how I feel.
I don't, I mean, if we feel that there'd be a need to take them out at a later date, yes, we should do it all at one time. Agree with that.
Are we gonna run the fence by fence this year or next year?
Well, there's money in there when they're making up the budget to run that fence, to get that fence.
Because I know he wants privacy back there.
Yeah, we put money in there.
I'll make a motion that we take the bid from Donnie Clark to remove 23 stumps
I will second that.
Okay, that's a combination of what, $960 and $720?
20.
1680 total?
Right.
Okay, we have a motion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Gadwa?
Yes.
Kozlowski, yes. Mullins?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes. Okay, at our yearly audit, due to different requirements by the state, our auditor feels that we have a perpetual care account, a fund, but it is never really funded, and it was never set up properly as a perpetual care. And he feels that the cemetery has always been run through the general fund, and this fund should, the perpetual care should be eliminated and rolled into the general fund. Also, the longevity fund, the way we set it up, he feels that this should still stay in the fire department and be dedicated or assigned funds within the fire department account. So, due to this, again, the auditor's recommendation, I'd like to eliminate the longevity fund and perpetual care. Move longevity to general fund and, or general fire fund and perpetual care to general fund.
Well, you know how I felt about that perpetual care for years. You know, we built that up so high, and it's just sitting there. I have no problem with moving it into our general fund.
Okay, well,
I'm still new enough on the board, I don't quite understand that, so I'm gonna go along with your suggestion on that.
well, it's not my suggestion, it's
The auditor's.
the auditor's
Yes, the professional.
I mean, we've had it there for
Yep.
a while, but we spent quite a little bit of time on it. Again, that's his recommendation. He felt that he wasn't comfortable with it, the way it was set up. And, so anyway, need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we move perpetual care into the general account
What about longevity?
and the longevity
Longevity into the fire fund.
fund. Yes, longevity. Thank you for correcting me. Longevity into the fire.
I'll support.
Call it roll on this one.
Gadwa?
Yes.
Kozlowski, yes. Mullins?
Yes.
Dean?
Yes. Township website. Judy, would you like to cover that? You're the one that's,
Well, I thought I could do it through GoDaddy. And once I started, and the girls from the library were gonna help me, it's not as user-friendly as we thought it was. And I used the IT guy from Armor Express, and he suggested to contact the young man that does their websites, which I did rather. And he came back and had me look at what he's developing for Elk Rapids Village. Well, we don't need anything like that because we don't have the buildings and the streetscapes. And it can be between $1,200 and $1,400, and what we don't use, naturally, we're not charged for. If we don't like what he's done, he gives us our money back. He's out of Traverse City. So,
All but what, 20%?
yeah. Even after it's done, all he takes is his retainer and gives us everything back. And it's set up in Word, so I can work on it, the treasurer can work on it. Yes, sir.
Mr. Waterman.
On this, Traverse City, you say, I would like to throw a suggestion at the board on this. My boy Melvin has successfully put websites together.
Okay,
He's here in Central Lake Township. You'll take a day to go see. I would suggest you think about him.
Will you give me his phone number?
Huh?
Will you give me his phone number so I can call him?
Phone number, so you
Phone
can call him.
He's got a phone, but I don't know what number.
Oh, okay. I'll give him a call.
You know where he lives?
By the church going down Ellsworth Road?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
We need something user friendly, so yeah, we'll talk to him.
I think you'd make you happy.
Okay. I will give him a call before I go any further then.
So this does not become an action item, then, huh?
Well,
Or can we make it an action item?
well, no, you just table it.
Yeah.
And,
Table to July.
bring it back to unfinished business.
Do you want to table it another month?
Yes.
Unless we call a special meeting just to address that.
Well, we could also make provisions that you could talk to him, and if you don't like it, we could still go through with this.
Well, we can do that too.
And give you the authority to go through with it, because the quicker we get that website up and going. the
Yeah,
better.
because it's been down for.
Websites are everything now.
Yep,
Well, the other one we have is just so
could not use it.
complicated that it couldn't,
I mean, I would love to make a motion and let Judy go ahead and make that decision of the sum up to the $1,400 quote
Okay,
at her discretion. Because I know absolutely, that anybody could tell me anything about a website, and I would know nothing about it at that point.
well, I thought I did, but it's much more complicated than I thought.
no, I mean, it's been the board policy, if we have somebody local that leaves.
Yeah.
Okay, you made that motion, 1,400, I'll support it.
Okay.
Money involved with this,
Cadwell,
Yes.
Kozlowski, yes, Mullins,
Yes,
and Bean.
yes. Move on to public comment. Walter?
Yeah, two questions, please. Cost to remove the tree stumps in Southern Cemetery, you're doing all 23 of, what's the cost?
$16.80, $9.60 for the 13 inside, and $7.20 for the 10 outside.
So the total is?
$16.80.
Thank you. The second question I have is, and maybe it's not an easy answer, on the audit report where they recommended changing the two accounts, one in the fire department and one in the general accounts. What did the state, what did they change to say it wasn't in the guidelines with the state anymore?
Okay, the main thing is people were using funds to hide money. And they feel that if everything is being run through the general fund, that all funds that are available for that general fund should be accounted in that fund. The fire fund, the reason that belongs in the fire fund, that's designated money that can only be used for fire equipment and employee pay. And even though it'll be in the fire fund, it still will have to be assigned funds. In other words, we'll have to keep enough in there to pay.
Longevity for
If
the
they
fire.
start to retire or leave the fire department, whatever the obligations are, we have to maintain that amount of money.
Okay, so when you guys did the budget every year, there was, in the budget documentation and everything we got, a longevity account in the fire department, and there was a perpetual care account. I assumed it was in the township side of the budget.
Right.
Well, if it's there, why is it being hid from the state? I don't understand.
They want it all in one place,
What's the one place on here they're gonna put it?
in the general fund, because that's where the cemetery is being, the operational costs of the cemetery comes out of, the general fund.
Okay, so on fund,
Perpetual care fund is okay, if you have it set up that every grade that's sold,
Right.
20% of it goes to perpetual care. If you take money out of the perpetual care for upkeep, a certain percentage, which we have not done, we don't do, we don't have enough money in perpetual care to do it. The interest that you get off that is so small that it wouldn't even begin to operate that cemetery. So it being that it's operated strictly through the general fund, that the money should be in the general fund.
Yeah, it's different from the rules of private cemeteries, because they have to have a perpetual care
Well,
fund.
that's perpetual fund is set up differently. It's a separate fund, and those funds come in there just strictly for that.
Yeah, they have to put X amount away out of every sale and every,
Right.
right, and we don't do that in the township.
No.
So then the public improvements, excuse me, the longevity then is gonna go under the, in the fund breakdown here, the fire account.
We'll go
And
in.
perpetual care is gonna go in the general account?
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Wallenbach.
On these two funds that we're talking about, what is the total of the two added together that you move it around?
In the longevity fund is 104,000, perpetual care is $44,748.83.
And which one is going to the fire department fund?
Yeah, 104,000.
What do you get a hundred
I
and
don't-
four? This
I
thing
don't
says
think it
Because it
88.
hasn't brought, this year was not transferred yet, there's only 83,000 showing in here. But at the end of the year, there was 10 more, or 9 or 10, I don't have the figures in front of me that qualified. This money never got transferred.
Right.
So it'll have to be assigned money.
I don't think this fund should be transferred to the fire fund. If it goes to the fire fund, and you might need it for cost on something out of the cemetery, it's gone, you ain't gonna ever see it again. I think you better put it in the general fund.
No, it's gotta go in the fire fund. Money that comes, we collect 2 mil for the fire department. That
Yes.
2 mil can only be used for the fire fund.
Okay.
And that's where the law,
That 2 mils, the grand total on that yearly is what?
I have to look at like 223,000, something like that that comes in. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay,
That's
that's
just
enough,
going by
I'm sure you
memory.
can live within those bounds, right?
We have been.
So I'm sure we'd be a lot happier in the township general fund.
Can't be in the general fund.
That's where it came from in the first place, is out of the fire fund. It didn't come from the
No,
township.
no, it came from the
No, it came from the
the
fire fund.
cemeteries.
No, it
No,
don't.
that's different, that's
That's
perpetual
different.
care.
Two separate things.
Two different accounts, Bob.
You don't wanna read all about this in the paper, so I think you better think that over, and I don't believe it needs to be in the fire fund.
That's where it comes from. That's why it has to be in the fire fund.
How would it come from the fire fund when it comes from the cemetery?
No, it's two different
There's
accounts.
2 different funds, okay?
I know it.
Perpetual care is for the cemetery. That went into the general fund. Longevity is for the paid for firemen. That is in the fire fund.
I think in the past, we bumped into the perpetual care fund, and that was accumulated out of millage.
Right.
So why do you want to stuff it in the fire fund where it is under millage?
Not putting it in the fire.
It's not going in the fire fund.
Tell me that again.
Perpetual care is going in the general fund,
Not in the fire.
not in the fire fund.
Longevity came from the fire fund, and then they're just doing away with that and putting it back in the fire.
How did it come from the fire fund?
Each year, qualifying members were, that monies was taken out of the fire fund and put into this longevity fund. And now the auditor says that's not the right way to do it, keep it in the fire fund. It isn't doing anything but just moving it from one account to the, back to where it came from. He doesn't want us to have a separate account.
Unhappy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna tell you
Okay,
what happened to 624.
what's happened? It's been, in the design stage right now.
And what?
It's being designed. Engineering is being done on it.
And the township's gonna fund this at, what, $60,000, I think was mentioned? Is that what?
I believe it was 129,
156, 8.
156, thank you, Walter.
Last fall, this was brought up.
Right.
I don't think that's a good move neither. Because this is, you're taking township money and doing county work with it. That's a county road. I would like to see you loan the county that money, even if you never saw it again. I think it'd be a lot better business deal if you loaned it to them and hope you got it back.
We took some township money and widened the road on Torch Lake.
You what?
We took some township money and widened the road to make it safer on Torch Lake Drive. What's the difference?
I don't know.
Those people have paid taxes all these years
You're,
that live on that road, plus everybody else drives on it.
if you're gonna blow this money like this, I hope you don't get another township vote on the road repair. If you can't take care of that money for what it was put in there for, you don't need it.
I thought that's what it was put in there for.
What?
I say, I thought that's what it was put in there for, to repair the roads.
Not county roads.
Well, they're not gonna be repaired without some help.
You might explain.
Are
to
you
them.
nailed in that seat up there?
Hmm?
You might be moving.
It's a possibility, I never know.
I don't want it, do you? You want that seat?
Yes, I might even go for it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's done, and it was done here in public meetings.
I have one more question. On the Central Lake Township Treasurer's Report, public improvements is the 1 mil that we're talking about for the roads, correct?
Correct.
The $214,183.17. Does that include the $156,800 for the grant matching money?
Did we make one payment to them? I don't remember what it was, I'll find
I
it to
don't
you.
remember. I'd have to go look. I don't know.
Make it look, there's a portion, we
So
already
they-
paid a
So they
portion.
got a partial payment to do the engineering?
I've only made one check and I don't remember what it was for.
I gotta look, well, I mean, I can't pull these numbers, you know, you ask me ahead of time, I'll have the information for you.
Well, I thought has the grant been received?
It's the commitment for it has been made.
Well, I thought we wasn't gonna give them any money until we knew the grant was received.
The commitment is there.
Thank you.
No, Mr. Waterline, you know, the board, we talked about it, we felt that that was the best thing to do. I say the board, this has been discussed, and we felt it was the best thing to do.
Well, the board's not the only taxpayer that got their feet in this thing.
Now, we do our best. Anyone else, public comment? Linda?
Mr. Waldman might be interested in knowing that Forest Home Township, which is down in Blair, at their most recent meeting, they are apparently feeling the same way, that the county's not gonna fix these roads, so they approved $350,000 for an overlay on Bel Air Highway from the limits of Torch Lake Drive. And that's a county primary. Because I called and checked. So, and apparently, this was not the first time they've done that. They also did it about 10 years ago. So,
Where's all this money that?
and the road commission had plenty of money 10 years ago.
That we're gonna have lots of money for roads and schools. Where's he chasing that from?
It's gonna stay downstate, 350 million's not that much.
I can't answer for that. This is federal funds, that's gonna do, 624. Federal funds, that's gonna do 624.
Is that still only east of town?
Yes.
Well, since last fall, you've been talking about all this fixing the roads on the east side of town. They're taking right out the west side of town. It's getting pretty nasty too.
That's maybe we can get something done, we'll try.
I don't care, you can go east, west, north, or south, all the roads are bad.
Yep.
So, you gotta start someplace. You gotta give these guys some kind of credit for doing what they're doing.
And we don't want no more taxes put on our gasoline. We can't afford it already.
Don't worry, that black boy's gonna take care of that for you. He's gonna raise the taxes on gasoline.
Okay, any further public comment? If not, I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn tonight's meeting.
I second.